Hello, heathens.
Heathens for the people. Yeah.
Heathens, Las Vegas.
Oh, do I need a light on? Oh, no, that's too bright. Oh, it's too much. It's too much. Okay, we're going with natural light today.
So, how's your morning been, Nicole?
Oh my God, my more.
Tell us.
Okay, I gotta take my shirt off for this. Okay, so it started out really nicely. Took Trinity to school, blah blah. It's raining. I love the spring rain. It's so nice and refreshing. Um, I'm still glitchy.
She's glitchy
Um,
today.
so I found out when I got home that I don't have my computer. So, but this was also after the fact that I had um taken some mushrooms. Because I like to take mushrooms on one of my days off to kind of reset and reboot. I found it's really helpful for my mental health. And but then
Especially,
I was like, after I had eaten it, I was like, oh, I gotta go. Oh, it's at the salon. I left at the salon. So fuck. So I'm like trying to get to the salon before it kicks in. I'm on a time crunch. We gotta do this.
you're like driving like a bat out of hell, and people are like, why? It's like one of those things where it's like, damn, lady, you should have left earlier. And you're like, I can't leave earlier. I gotta get there. I gotta get home. I'm gonna be high. I love
So
that.
for your safety nerds out there, like I was safe and like actually I'm a better driver, I think. Because there was a point where I was like, oh, I gotta get out of the way because there was a semi and cars that were coming in from the what's that one part that comes into the traffic in
The entrance ramp?
the
Like an
entrance
entrance
ramp,
ramp?
I
Yeah.
guess. Isn't that is that what they call it?
Yeah. When you're getting onto the highway from a
So I
street.
was like, oh God, I gotta get over. And then there's a truck on the other side. So I gotta punch it so I can get up front of this truck and get out of these guys' way. And I did it. And I was like,
I am magical.
yeah, I am magical. And I'm like, I love my life. My life is great.
Yeah. I've been loving life too lately. We finally moved. My new home.
Yay. I know. You're like
Fair.
all of a sudden you're old and making I gotta go home and make dinner.
Oh my God, you guys, when I say I've been taking on the freaking role of a housewife, like for those of you that know me and those of you that don't, this is shocking. This is shocking because I feel weird because I'm like, I'm making dinner, I'm getting groceries, I'm taking care of the kitchen, and I am not one of those women belong in the kitchen kind of girlies. So it feels kind of weird, but also nice. I'm embracing it. She's gone. Where'd she go?
Oh, sorry. I'm still
We're having technical difficulties a little bit
I,
today, you guys, but
I was hoping it was gonna stop the glitchy part. So
oh well.
but now it won't go back on.
All you get to look at is my face for those of you watching.
I don't know why it's not
Um,
working.
since we've moved on the first floor, I got a bird feeder that like
Mm.
suction cups to my patio door, you guys, and I've been feeding the birds. I'm fucking Snow White over here too. Like, what are all these new
Snow
rules?
White.
Um, yeah, Cruella and Snow White, like if they had a baby, apparently that would be me.
That would be you.
Um, yeah, I know, because like some of these dogs out here, I'm like,
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
get your little dog too, you know. But since we got this bird feeder, man, the cats freaking love it. We have new friends. We have a mourning dove. I named her Gladys. I have now named this squirrel that's huge, big boss hog, because
Oh,
he's a boss hog. That's a
he's
good
a
name,
boss
right?
hog. Yeah.
He's huge. He keeps coming up to my
Oh,
freaking patio door and like scratching, like trying to get in. And I'm like, listen, Holmes, you're not getting in here. Trinity, I sent her a video earlier and she's like, let him in. That boy thick. He's coming in. She's like, let him in now. And I was like, absolutely fucking not. Like, that squirrel's not coming in here. I'm sorry. First
I
of all,
love the
he's
fact that she
huge.
was like, let him in.
Let him in. I'm like, absolutely fucking not, dude. And like, he's just a big ass squirrel. And like, what am I gonna do with that? He's almost as big as the cats. My cats aren't big cats. They're like,
He's
he's
trying
almost
to
as
be
big
friend.
as
What if
them.
he's a spirit animal?
I don't know. He's probably been everybody's spirit animal then, because that boy thick. That's a thick
He
boy.
just wants to love you.
He just wants to break into my kitchen. I know it.
That's probably true. Let's be honest.
Okay,
That's that boy that goes
people.
around to everybody's kitchen.
Yeah, that boy breaks in. He's everybody's spirit animal. Anybody that'll feed him.
Mhm.
Um, Nicole, tell the heathenistic people what we're talking about today.
We are talking about intuition.
We love this.
We're going back to the basics, babies. So
Basics, baby.
it's interesting because I was watching a couple of videos and I really want to tell people, like, if you want to get in touch with your intuition before we get down this road, look up, my favorite is Teal Swan. Absolutely. And just a lot of things, but she has some really good videos about listening to your inner voice and how she explains how, like, we've gotten disconnected from it. We weren't taught to, as babies, we weren't taught to trust our inner voice and stuff like that. So I think she's a really good one. But there's many great people out there that talk about intuition as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good videos on TikTok too that like some of the things that I wanted to talk about today is the clair senses.
Mm-hmm.
And describe those and give you guys like some basis, like start building your foundation too, and talk about some of the things that you can do to start trying to work these things out. And there's a ton of videos. Oh, look, there's a baby in the background.
There's Lucy.
He's cute. That's Lucifer.
Lucifer.
He has now many names. Sorry to sidetrack, but ADHD. He has Lucifer, Lucy. I started calling him Lou, then that turned into Lulu, and that turned into Doodoo, and now he is known as Doodoo Head. So, it's an evolution. He's like a Pokemon. He has an evolution, and he is now Doodoo
uh,
Head, the baby. Um,
that's amazing.
right? So yeah, so back to brass tacks here, people. When you are looking
Focus.
up videos on TikTok, there's a lot of videos on there that will help you start to even use it. Because again, we talk about this a lot where etheric energy is really used through social media and through the internet. The ethernet is what I like to
The
call it now, because
Ethernet.
it's the ether. If you haven't watched What
Ether.
We Do in the Shadows, you guys got to
Mm.
watch that. There's the part where he's like, I called to you through the ether, and it makes you think
Oh my
about
God. That show is just great in so many levels. And especially, I
yes.
think the rendition of like energy vampires, because now when I am with an energy vampire, I completely know.
I think about Colin Robinson all the time, and all I can think about is him talking to somebody about the DMV to suck energy.
And
And I'm
he's
like,
like,
it's so funny.
it's
Then
so
his
great.
eyes glow when they go to the you guys got to watch What We Do in the Shadows and then come talk to me and Nicole, because it's one of my hands down favorite shows. And the part where they go to the city council meetings and he's like
Oh God, yeah.
sitting in the back. It's so funny.
That one's amazing.
Okay, ADHD's on 100 today, you guys. So okay, what I wanted to really start with, and something that I feel like, Nicole, I wish that you and I would have been told when we were starting this. Sometimes, you guys, I think about where Nicole and I are now, and I always think, man, we're healing inner child for ourselves, because my inner child right now, I'm everything that I would have wanted to be and more. Like things I
As an
didn't even
adult.
know I wanted to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I look, in my opinion, and this is completely biased, but I look fucking cool. I have tattoos.
I think you look cool.
Thanks, buddy. I think you look fucking cool. But like, we're everything that we
Thanks.
wanted to be when we were kids, you know?
Absolutely.
And I wish that there would have been an adult like myself now to tell me this as I was growing up. And even in my adulthood, I wish somebody would have said this. So I want to start this episode truly off with this. When you start developing your senses and you start really working on your intuition, I really want you guys to work on trying not to compare your style or your own strengths to others.
Oh my God, that is such a good one because I feel like I was comparing myself all the time and I still do.
And I still
That's,
do too.
yeah, but like the great thing about it, or where I can tell people to stop comparing yourself with it and to help them through that is a lesson I learned from My Little Ponies. Like watching the show with my daughter.
Because the baby was absolutely obsessed with My Little Pony.
Absolutely. And I love the cartoons that they've got now about it where it's like friendship is magic. At some point I was like friendship is magic. Cuz I'm such a baby sometimes. Um so yeah, if you don't know this about me, I have a small window where I don't cry. It's either too happy and I cry or it's sad and I cry.
We're
Right?
going to talk about that today because I learned some things about that, but
Oh
keep going.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing where I want to tell people is like with watching Friendship is Magic and they're having these aspects in the show, each one of them has their particular power that they bring to the table. And we all need that, right? But
Yeah,
we're not strong at all of those. We're not supposed to be strong at all of those, right? So it takes every piece of the puzzle to make the whole entire picture.
100%. Like, this is why Nicole and I work so well together, you guys. Like, we see we're not a 7-7 sun sign, which if you don't know what that is, that's when two signs are opposing and you see what you want to be in the opposite person or the other sign. But like, I feel like that's how our relationship is, where it's like we see each other's strengths and we play off of them. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, you guys, like, I'm going through something and I can't fucking feel it for myself. I detach
Mm.
from it and I can't tell what I'm going through. But because Nicole is so in touch and in tune with her feeling and her feeling for others, and it goes past your, we're going to talk about this later too. I'll describe this, but your feeling goes past being an empath. You don't have to be next to somebody to feel it. You could
No.
be, as long as you have a connection, it could hit you. It's like a knowing and you feel it. You know
Mhm.
somebody's going through something. And that is how you and I are because we have such a strong connection, you guys. I mean, we've been so energetically intertwined with all of this that it's like
Mhm.
our paths walk like literally an inch from each other at this point. And there's different bumps in that road, but we're still walking this path next to each other. And it's like, I will go through something and I don't even know what the hell it is. And Nicole will be like, what's that? And I've learned to not be like, don't look at that. Instead, I've been like, honestly, I don't know what that is. Could you, what do you think it is? And she's like, well, I'm feeling this. And then it hits me and I'm like, oh, fuck. Yep. That's what that
Yeah.
is. And like,
Well, our defense
right.
mechanisms are like that. Like they're so like we're like, no, we're not gonna deal with that. We're gonna put that over there. We're gonna pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because I'm perfect. I'm perfect. I'm fine.
Well, and we've also been taught to not like feel things, which we'll talk about in the next episode, you
Yeah.
guys. Anger, negativity. I'm excited for that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
But with this, like, do not compare. I also wanted to say that developing your intuition can take time. Okay. It's not going to be something that you guys,
It's just like going to a gym.
yes, that's perfect. It's a muscle you have to work out. Okay.
I stole that from Damien, so I can't like
I mean, I think a lot of spiritual people that have been on this journey say the same thing, you know, it's
right, you do. And like our path, like we you and we talked about this in our first like episode about how we got into all of this and it was literally like that. Like I gave it to you and you were like I already signed up for it. But go to the classes, even if you're scared, because we were scared and I needed a spiritual buddy to go with.
Oh yeah. And you guys
And
in the future, we're planning on creating a class too, hopefully this
mhm,
summer that you guys can come if you're comfortable with us and you would like to take it from us. We'll be putting that everywhere in the future, but if not, like even ask us, we can give you recommendations on people that we think are comfortable that would fit you because you know what I mean. We know quite a lot of our listeners, and for those of us you that don't know us or we don't know you, hi, I'm Cassie.
hi, I'm Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. Wait, I gotta keep it fucking weird. Hi, I'm Cassie, and I'm addicted to
Life.
simmer pots for sure, but
Well, right now I'm addicted to the Bible for some reason. I mean, not for some reason, but like I went down a whole rabbit hole this weekend.
honestly, that's not surprising. I feel like you have always been very attracted to the Bible, but I feel like you also had to get there goes that fucking squirrel again, you guys. I'm sorry.
Stupid squirrel.
ADHD is on
Squirrel.
125. Squirrel, literally. Um,
You manifested your squirrel.
that is a fuck moment. Fuck. Um, yeah, anyways, Nicole's always been a part of the Bible, and you guys got to understand. I did want to talk about this too, and this is a great segue into this is when you guys get into this stuff, okay? If you have a toxic idea behind religion or you have been fighting a parasite, something like that, which is what happened to me. When I first got into Intuition 101 classes, I was fighting this feeling inside that I was going to hell because I was trying to get in touch with myself. It was witchcraft, quote unquote. It was bad for me. I was going to attract
Mhm.
ghosts. I was going to like do all this stuff. Little did I know where it came from. And it's not just all religion. It's because I never realized this until a while ago when it hit me that as a kid, I heard and saw things and it scared me. And I was in a really toxic religious household where you're not allowed to be in touch with yourself. You're only supposed to focus your whole entire being on the idea of God, not
Mhm.
what God really is.
Well,
And
especially
so
when people are like, I tell you what God is.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And so, like, getting into this and trying to unlock a door that has been shut down, not by by partly by myself, but mostly by others, trying to unlock that to be able to open that stuff back up again is it's hard to do. And it
Mhm.
takes time and a lot of freaking work, man. A lot of work.
Well, and especially when you've been assaulted by a certain thing,
Yeah.
you shut that out of your life completely. I mean, you know how many times I have like talked about either Jesus or the Bible or because I am so connected with it and um how I've gotten shut down in the metaphysical community, right? And it's all wounds. It's all wounds, right? Like, and of course I am like the wound finder. So I'm like, let me
Poke.
put my finger in that.
Yeah, it's so I know there was a roundabout way to say though that like Nicole's always been into the Bible. Her first spirit guide she saw was Jesus. That's who came to her. And it's like there's this really toxic, which again, if you guys haven't listened to Religion and Spirituality Part 1, Part 2, definitely go listen to those. But
Hmm.
there's a lot of toxicity behind everything in the world. Everything.
Well, there's a duality,
Everything.
right? There's a duality to everything, right? It can be used for good, it can be used for evil. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, religion and the Bible has both.
Yes. And
And you
so
have to use your discernment. You have to use your choices and like what feels good, what doesn't feel good. So, like, on my journey right now, I feel like I can delve deep into it
mm-hmm.
and discern for myself. Like, and there's going to be hangups. Like, I just listened to something last night where it says, um, and it's about women. And that has come up really big for me lately is how women are still being suppressed and how we're all brainwashed about it. And we think that we're being empowered when really they're letting us. It's not true empowerment, right? Unless you are, and I don't mean to be on a soapbox, but like, unless you are showing power like the toxic male, it's not powerful. And that's all what we led to believe what femininity power is like that kind of like, oh, well, if this is power because that's how they got it and they got wealth and they got respect and they got blah, blah, blah. That's what I want. So I have to act exactly like them to get what they got. Right.
Right.
But I'm still trying to digest because there was something that we just went into about how women in the church are not supposed to talk. How they're not supposed to ask questions until they go home and ask their husbands. And this was put in multiple letters because now I've figured out that the Bible is in like, oh God, I did. Okay, right back. Okay. There are, and forgive me because I am just learning this, but there's different parts of the Bible. So there's some of them are letters that they corresponds from like, right now we're talking about Paul. So from Paul to different cities at the time, and they were corresponding back and forth to each other. And this passage is in multiple letters. And the historian that I am watching go through all this is not, he didn't really elaborate on it. And I would know why. And literally he just said, well, Paul didn't always get what he wanted. And I kind of, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of, but I can see where like if you're going through, or where depending on the filter that you're looking through, where you can either be triggered or you can use that to your advantage in a negative way, a manipulative way, right? So this is why you really like, if you really want to follow, I hate saying follow a religion. I am going to say study and research because I don't want to be told what to do. I want to do it on my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to research. That's all I got.
And use
Everything.
discernment.
Right.
So
Right.
to add to that, with intuition, you guys don't have to drop all of your beliefs to be intuitive. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Like you don't have to, you could be any religion and still get in touch with your intuition. This is all about self. This is about
Mm-hmm.
inner work. This is about intuition, is just getting in touch with the gift that we've been given or
That you were
we've just
born with.
inherited, born
Yeah.
with, gotten, whatever you would like to
All
say
of
or
it.
believe, all of it.
Right.
Exactly. And I also
Your
want to,
birthright.
yeah, right. It's like your birth, it is what it is, it
Yeah.
is what it is. I guess the only thing I have to add with that is just know that some people are inherently given better strengths than others. Okay. Like my vision has been strong since I was a kid. I shut it off. I picked it back up. It came back stronger than ever. The hearing has been a hard one for me because when I was a kid, it really scared the fuck out of me. And that's come back slowly over time. That's been a really hard door to open back up. And it still happens at times and I don't even know how. It's like if you guys have watched
Right.
Wednesday, she gets these visions, she doesn't know how to control it. It's kind of like the same thing where all of a sudden I'll hear something and I'm like, the fuck was that?
Am I crazy? Is this am I
Right.
crazy?
So let's talk the senses, the clear senses.
Oh, I like these.
They say there's 5, there's 6, because there's one that not a lot of people talk about or teach, and I want to talk about it. So there is seeing, there is hearing, there is feeling, there is smelling, there's tasting, and there is knowing. Knowing is 6. So we'll start with seeing. Okay. Do you know what seeing is called?
Clairsentience.
Clairvoyance.
No.
Clairsentience is feeling.
Oh, that's why I know that one.
That's why you know that one. Okay, so seeing is called clairvoyance, and this is when visions, past, present, and future, flash through our mind's eyes or third eye, which is what I like to say. And it's kind of like a daydream, and they call it clear see or clear sight. So like some signs of clairvoyance are going to be flashes of light and seeing colors and shapes, symbols, flashing lights in your head, seeing orbs.
Is there a
Um,
difference between like seeing it, or seeing it like in your third eye?
No, so actually it can be developed. So most of the time when your vision starts, I'm sure you guys may have caught this from when Rocky talks about it in a couple of our episodes, but for me and I know for him as well, and I know it's starting for you.
It
So
is.
the way it kind of starts, you guys, is exactly like daydreaming. It's like you'll just be sitting on the couch, maybe scrolling through TikTok, and then all of a sudden it's like you're seeing like a whole different like something's happening. um Deja vu I feel like is clairvoyance as well for me, but it's kind of like daydreaming, but it's like all of a sudden you're getting like this like information, but you don't know that you're getting it. And the more
Mm-hmm.
that you start paying attention to it, you'll start being more susceptible to visions and prophecies. So
Mm-hmm.
like it could start here, but then as it keeps going, you could get psychic visions about people, like
Mm-hmm.
specifically. You could really be working on that. Then you could continue to keep going. You could start seeing auras. You could start seeing orbs, seeing things out of the corner of your eye. You're not crazy. You're seeing it. It's just the
Right.
fact that you, when you focus your attention there, it's not, that muscle's not worked out enough to be able to see it. You're
Right.
trying too freaking hard. You're like, I swear I saw that. And it's
Hyper
like you're,
focus.
yes, it's too,
Mm-hmm.
you're not letting it flow because basically then your attention goes from here, right? From the seeing portion and your, all of this being open to boom, laser beam.
Well, and when you do that, when you hyper focus on it, it's almost like if you had a muscle and you were tensing up the muscle, the blood flow is not going to go. So, like in energy flows, that's when you're hyper focused on something that like goes right, it constricts.
Yeah.
So it doesn't let it flow. It's not natural.
Yes, exactly. So some other things that go into clairvoyance as well is some people can see auras around other people. And an aura is your spiritual energy field, and every person has it. But what I feel like it's not talked a lot about is it has different layers and
Right.
it changes. There's one that you naturally have, that's your state of being, but then it changes per situation and per whatever's happening or you're feeling. So
Mm-hmm.
auras change a lot. Being able to see how things clearly fit together. If you have this like vision or knowing in your head, you can see how a situation is going to have an outcome. You can see it in your head how everything's going to happen, and you're a natural problem solver. You probably have clairvoyance. You probably have a vision. You could see things and that can turn into 3D.
Wow, that's so helpful because I feel like a lot of the stuff, and this is my journey for sure, is a lot of stuff like until you explain it, I'm like, oh, I do that naturally.
How
But
about
I
this
never
one?
thought it was a gift. Like,
Oh yeah, I have more of that you probably didn't know. Having a sense of direction. That it's like knowing where you're going all the time. You go there once, you know how to get back. It's like
mm-hmm,
you rarely get lost.
mm-hmm,
Clairvoyance. You can see it. If you have a vivid imagination, you can really develop that into clairvoyance. If you dream frequently and your dreams are vivid, start keeping a dream journal.
yeah,
Start writing down what happened. Start writing what the place looked like, who you saw. You will start to align yourself with, oh my God, I've been here before.
right,
Oh my God, I know where I'm at. Like, what am I doing here? And
mm-hmm,
you'll start getting these things, and then you'll start getting more and more through your dreams to where you will then be almost one, prophesizing, or two, you're going to be getting information from your spirit guides. You're going to be doing different trials. You're basically going to be leveling up through your dream state, because dreaming, essentially, we leave our 3D body because we're bored. Our body needs to sleep. Your soul doesn't need to sleep. Your spirit doesn't need to sleep, dog. You can travel where the hell you want to travel to, and you do. So that's part of clairvoyance as well. Most people that are clairvoyant are extremely creative. Extremely. They can see and like visually put it out.
That's how I've done my whole hairdressing career. I need to see a picture.
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know how to do it, but I need a picture.
Mm-hmm. So, like, some ways to, I have some things for clairvoyance. Okay. Ways to curate this is meditation, visual exercises, and practicing mindfulness. Like, we, again,
When
another,
you say mindfulness, what do you mean?
that's where I was going to go into, because I was just going to say, so I talk about this book a lot. We both do. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Um, Being mindful is being in the now. So when something hits, you're aware of it. You're not having 50 different browsers up, thinking about different things, not being in the now. You're not, you're focused almost. It's like easy focus too. It's not like this, like, I gotta like, again, you're like eyes twitching, straining because you're focusing so hard on it. It's not like that. It's kind of like when you meditate, right? And during meditation, I feel like we'll end up talking about this to you guys, because I feel like there's a lot of dogma around and bullshit, let's be honest, bullshit around meditating. Because it's hard to keep your mind quiet and still, right? Mind stilling is
Right.
something that's really hard to do, and it takes years of practice. But also, like, when you're meditating, you can let things flow more easily, and just let it
Mm-hmm.
flow. Start seeing what you see, man. If you start getting visions, like, try to slow it down. If it's too fast, be like, this is too fast, I got to slow this down, and try to just like easily
Right.
focus on different images. That's going to start really playing into your clairvoyance getting stronger. Being mindful of when you have a daydream, guys, sit in it for a second. What do you
Right.
see? What's happening? Like, pay attention to it, instead of it just being a passing thought that comes in too quickly and leaves too quickly
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't give it the time of day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you brush it off or whatever. I
Yeah.
was gonna add, like, we are in my ritual magic class. One of the things that we first start is meditation. And I talked about that, how like you need to see your thoughts because they've been playing in the background and you haven't been giving them any attention, you or any acknowledgement, like, so the more you know how you're thinking, the more you can, like, okay, that's an old program, let's get that out of there. Or why am I beating myself up so much? I didn't even know I was doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I come hyper aware of, like, when I say that I'm stupid, or because I, forgot my computer this morning, or, I could totally beat myself up about, it would have been very easy, I should say.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
just being mindful of those thoughts that you're carrying around with you.
Absolutely. And it's hard. Mindfulness is really hard, you guys. A lot of this stuff, this is what kills me about the spiritual community sometimes, is because people talk about this stuff like it's just easy. You should just be
Right.
doing this. Like, what do you
Right.
mean? You're not mindful? Like, it's so easy, just do it. No, it's not easy. A lot of things in this world are put here to distract us. They are
Mm-hmm.
put here to test us in whatever you want to believe. Again, you guys use discernment, whatever you want to believe. In my belief, I think things were put on this planet to distract us. I really do. I think they're tests. I think they're here to get us
Mm-hmm.
to like be able to do the things that we are capable of doing. But it's just, it's not as easy as everybody likes, or people, not everybody. Let me not categorize us all together in one big category of everybody. But it's not as easy as you think. So mindfulness is something you really have to practice. Meditation, you're not going to freaking sit down and try to meditate for an hour and have like something profound happen. It doesn't happen to everybody.
Right.
There are people like Eckhart Tolle, right? He had this big profound thing that happened to him. That's not everybody.
And it doesn't need to be everybody. Not everybody needs to be that way.
Could you imagine if we were all like that?
Well, I
You
guess we'd
guys,
be fine. I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, man, if I hadn't had that yet and you had that, I'd be like, you're like preaching on your soapbox, buddy. Chill. Chill for me.
Like, okay, calm down.
Mm-hmm. So I want to say too, people with clairvoyance, with clairsentience, with clairaudience, all these things, you're sensitive, okay? Everybody's sensitive, and whether you are aware of it or not, everybody has abilities. Every person has something that is stronger than others. We're all sensitive to the external world. So using herbs to clear your space, like sage, holy basil, getting rid of negative and
Oh,
intrusive
yeah.
energies, that's going to really help. So one herb that I really, really wanted to mention for clairvoyance to help also with this is mugwort.
Oh my God, mugwort is my new favorite thing.
Dude, seriously, I already loved mugwort, but Nicole and I found
Oh,
a new way of using it that was like,
dude, it's so cool. Um, we put it in a simmer pot.
just mugwort.
It
Like,
changed everything.
dude, we were like, what the
It
fuck?
smells so good.
Oh my
Because
God.
I've only used it as burning. I've
Mm-hmm.
never used it any other way, right?
Well, and I've used it in
Well, you get
tea.
tea, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a tea drinker, so that is very I always like want to be a tea drinker, but like find it very tasking
Yeah, I
because
get that.
I'm a pour it in the cup kind of girl, right? Like
You're
I'm a pour.
when it comes to drink, you're an instant gratification girl.
I drink whiskey. Like pour it in there, put an ice cube in and give it to me. Like that's what I want. Like don't fuck with it. And tea is kind of like that. You've got a little bag now and I can only put it in for 15 minutes and depending on who you talk to, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5. It's so detail oriented. I'm like I need to be this person that has like a person that gives me tea, not like I
Nicole,
don't want to do all that.
tea's too much work for Nicole is basically what she's saying.
It's a lot of work. And then what do I do with this fucking tea bag?
I will say though, if you're wanting to develop clairvoyancy, drinking mugwort tea before you go to bed will help a lot because it helps to open up that like the the shooting you
The
off.
the simmer pot did just the same thing. I've had wonderful dreams since we've put like the simmer pot on. Like so many. Oh, it's so great.
Man, I we love mugwort. Mugwort's really great, like I said, in developing your clairvoyance. Put it in a simmer pot, dude. Just do just mugwort. Your house is gonna smell fucking unreal. I'm telling you. I felt like we were at the Renaissance Festival, but we were literally at Nicole's house.
It's so sweet.
It
Like it
smells
was
so
just
good.
so good.
Oh, and I bet if you threw some cinnamon in there, oh man. Oh,
Yeah, because didn't you do cinnamon?
yeah, I did. I forgot I did. I at first I just did mugwort, and then I had that in my head where I was like, you should throw some cinnamon in there, and it smelled
Mm-hmm.
phenom.
Well, because
Um,
cinnamon also gives it more power, right?
yeah, yep, it's a power enhancer.
Yeah.
Some crystals that you can use to help to develop your third eye and open it up are amethyst, aquamarine, fluorite, labradorite, and moonstone. You can use them when you're meditating or just keep them on you. That will help a lot with enhancing your vision. Um, but the last thing I want to talk about with clairvoyance, okay? Uh, because this one scared me when I was a kid. And even
Mm-hmm.
as an adult, getting back into like opening that door and that pathway, I was scared. Okay. But listen, gotta let go of the fear of vision. Okay. It can be intimidating and you may have had it at one point and then shut it down, but get intentional with getting that energy back. And you could even start your work with a prayer to see anything in your highest good. Okay. You
Mm-hmm.
can start to control what you do and don't see. You can
Mm-hmm.
you can start to really get strong with it. If it really scares you, ask for visions in your head, ask for dreams if you do not want to see 3D. Because 3D, even me, you guys, I my 3D has gotten pretty strong. It's sometimes it's shite and other times it's great. And
Mm-hmm.
that's because I'm still becoming, but um there's been some shit that scared me. That I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, holy fucking shit, I am seeing that.
Well, and it's hard because they come out of nowhere, right? Like, and if you had a person walk into your like house, like you would be like, excuse me,
Yeah.
and you would be scared, right? But I will tell people like, don't be scared of everything. It's just because your light's like kind of brighter than other people's, and there's lost people, there's lost souls out there, right?
Right.
And not everybody, not everything's a demon.
Yeah. And like Rocky said in the last episode, not everything is there to get you. Okay. A lot of it can be new spirit guides, new allies. Like one of
Right,
Rocky's allies that
right.
scared the fuck out of me was his freaking Sasquatch, his Sam Squanch. That thing freaking scared the hell out of me. Cause I was like, holy shit. I went in the house and I was like, Rocky, there's that thing out there. I was freaking out, man. I was like,
You're like, oh my God.
I was like, what is that? So not everything's here to hurt you, to scare you. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're trying
Mm-hmm.
hard as hell to get your attention, man. They're trying hard as hell to get through to what the way that they know that you could see them.
Mm-hmm.
And it will scare you sometimes. So
Well, especially
right.
because we're taught that like dark things are bad, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they can't get enough energy to like show their full self.
I love that you're so aware
As
of it
soon as
now.
I'm like, oh, I'm
Pause.
frozen,
Stop.
right? Now I'm like,
Quick story for you guys. One of my first animal guides, who has become my strongest ally, scared the literal
amazing.
hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she is a grim. Oh, I'm getting chills. She's a grim. For those of you that don't know, it is basically the black dog. Churches
Mm-hmm.
have like a black dog. It's not. She's not necessarily a hellhound. First time she showed herself to me, she killed two kids in my dream.
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember this dream.
This dream like fucked me up, man. Just to give you the quick rundown, I was on a hill. I was looking at this puzzle, this ancient puzzle. I was figuring it out. All of a sudden, two little blonde kids come out of nowhere trying to play tag with me, trying to get me to go down in this building. Okay. Out of nowhere comes this big fucking black dog. Looked like a pit bull to me in my dream. Now I see her very differently because I could see her for her. But came across running, barreling over this hill, chased these kids down in there. I heard her kill them. She comes back up. I'm sitting on this hill sobbing. She comes and she puts her head on my shoulder. And immediately I was comforted. Had no fucking idea what happened. And woke up, was freaking out, called Nicole, told my intuition teacher at the time. She didn't know what it was. Somebody had told me it
Mm-hmm.
was two demons that tried to attack me, and that was when she felt the need to show up for me because I was opening up everything really too fast without having any built up
Mm-hmm.
protection, and she
Mm-hmm.
ran in. Little did I know she's been with me since the start. She came with
Right.
me. She chose to come with me knowing what I'd be doing in life.
Mm-hmm.
But she scared me because she's a big ass black looking werewolfy looking dog. She's huge. She's scary looking to people that do not know her. I have seen her shift into the prettiest black woman I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
find a picture of a woman that looks like she does in some capacity because I mean, she might she shifts. Sometimes I see her differently in my dreams and it's very interesting. But
Mm-hmm.
she scared the fuck out of me the first time I saw her, and little did I know she's my closest and strongest ally.
Absolutely. She's helped us in so many ways.
So many ways. Even
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, she's been like, yeah, dude, I like she's just here and she helps
Yeah.
those that need her. And it's like she goes to my close people too. And like
Mm-hmm.
she keeps us safe a lot of the times. And it's like really cool because it's like, dude, I could have saw that and shut it down and not had my connection with her because I was scared
Right.
because she's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Right.
anymore,
She's
but
No, but with the first instance of like seeing it, it's always just like meeting a new person, like friend or foe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can kill me or not, dog.
And like,
So yeah,
and especially if she ran after some children that you didn't actually know what that was. I mean, can't even, you don't even know what you're seeing, right?
exactly.
Like, why is this dog going after these children?
Right, exactly. So yeah, try to keep from being scared, you guys, and use your discretion. If you really want to try to control it, you could ask to see like an ancestor first, one that can see your guides and help you work out if they're good or not.
Well, and they're gonna come to you in exactly the form that they need to be, right? Like they're trying to help you. They're not trying to like scare you.
Exactly.
And contact us. Contact us. Get if you can't contact us, contact the community. Like reach out to the community and find somebody you can trust there. Um, and it's scary, I know, because I'm scared of people. And but like it's part of the journey, as corny as that sounds. But like it is. Go out, meet some people, roll some ideas off of them, see what they say. If it feels good, if the group feels good and they're supportive, that's the group you need.
Yeah, and in the future, we're going to have a Patreon as well as I think we're going to start a private Facebook group for our community for the heathens of the
Of the
world.
people.
We're going to start something too so that we can bounce ideas off of each other and things that happen and get advice. And, some people are
Mhm.
better at other things than others, and they might get something for you that you didn't even know or think about. So we'll start
Absolutely.
that in the future too, which is going to be helpful. Our next Claire is Claire Audience, which is
Mhm.
hearing.
Oh my god,
So
and this one is, I think, more freakier than seeing.
I will tell you guys, I have both of these. These are two of my strongest. Nothing, it is startling when you see something, but when you hear something and you're like laying in bed at night and all of a sudden it's like boom in your voice or a voice in your ear and you're like, R.I.P. me, dog. Bye. It sounds scary.
Ah!
So clear audience isn't only hearing words, it's hearing sounds and music in your mind as well as hearing it audibly in the 3D. Um,
Mhm.
some signs of this, which I might say some of these, and you're probably gonna be like, oh my God, this is happening. Hearing someone you say your name when no one is around. Huge. Happened to me a lot as a kid. Uh
Wow.
if you really enjoy the quiet and you get overwhelmed easily in loud or busy environments, you may be clairaudient. If you spoke to an imaginary friend as a kid, you may be clairaudient because they weren't imaginary. Anyways, if you really, really love music, you'll be able to start hearing music as messages.
Oh, that's cool.
Somebody who can play an instrument without having sheet music in front of them, you're probably clairaudient. They
Mhm.
probably have a strong clairaudience. Um, Giving great advice to others. Strangers will often tell you their stories and ask for advice, and that can turn into channeling.
Mhm.
You're in touch with their spirit guides or your spirit guides, and people will just randomly walk up to you. This happens to me all the fucking time. It kills my
Yeah.
partner, kills him. He'll be like, we can't go anywhere. We can't go anywhere. Every waitress talks to you. All of a sudden, they're telling me their life story or some traumatic event they've been through.
Yeah.
And I just either sometimes I just listen because like that's all they need. Sometimes things just blow. And it's a form of channeling. So
Mhm.
hairdressers, all my hairdressers that listen to this, dog, you might have a strong clear audience.
Absolutely.
If you're
Absolutely.
if you're out here giving great advice and people literally love talking to you because you're just getting things for them, you're probably clear audience.
Mhm.
My favorite one, ringing in your ears.
Oh
You
my
ever
god.
experienced that?
Seriously. All the time.
Ringing in your ears is not tinnitus, you guys. If you are having this tone that comes through randomly, changes in pitches, shuts on and off whenever it wants to, that is not clairaudience. Or that's not, sorry, that's clairaudience. It is clairaudience. That's not tinnitus. That's not tinnitus.
What did they say anything about because sometimes I'll get it where it like blocks out.
So I didn't get too deep into this rabbit hole. Reason being is because it is different for every person.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. I think that if you get this, you really need to do your own research and start paying attention to it. The only thing
Mhm.
that I would give advice on in this is don't try to hear so hard. Just be
I
open
get it.
and listen.
Right.
And if you hear it ringing in your ear, take a deep breath in, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, say, I'm listening, and just see whatever
Mhm.
comes. It might
Mhm.
just be a song that comes into your head. It could be, you might think it's your mind telling you something, but it's just because you might not know the difference between your mind and your spirit guide or your higher
Mhm.
self.
Mhm.
So it's like one of those
Squirrel.
things, dude, this fucker's big. Yeah, this whole episode's just going to be me being like, squirrel, he's going after my bird feeder.
You're
He's fat.
just gonna have to surrender to the fact that he's going to go after your bird feeder.
That boy's got to be like 8 pounds, 10 pounds.
I thought you were gonna say he's like 6 foot.
The boy's like 6 foot. I can see it.
It's a kangaroo.
I did think, okay, I don't even bring up kangaroos a lot, but I did think to myself, squirrels are kind of like micro kangaroos.
Mm-hmm.
They're creepy. Um, But anyways, yeah. So with the ringing in your ears, it can mean different to every person, a different thing. I still don't know what it means for myself, you guys, and I fucking hear audibly things often. But like with
Right.
the ringing, I can't tell. So I've gone on TikTok and done my own research. One that really resonated with me was the higher pitched ringing in your left ear could be a being from another dimension that you've contacted, and they're trying to contact you, but it's because of it's going through all these dimensions. It's hard to, you got to like really tune in. So
Mm-hmm.
some people have said your right ear is your ancestors, your left ear is your spirit guides. Your right ear
Right.
is, what's around you. Your left ear is your internal. There's a lot of different interpretations, and I think that it's all something you might need to research.
Well, and again, like we're gonna because we all have different filters, all this stuff comes in through different things. That's why it can be brushed off as like bullshit or, it rings true to you. And that's why there's so many versions out there,
Mm-hmm.
is because we all are experiencing this world through our own filters.
Because we all live different realities. We all live
Mhm.
in a different world. I say
Mhm.
that all the time. Two more that could maybe you are clairaudient is being an auditory learner. If all you have to do is hear it and you can do it, you might be clairaudient. Also, speaking to yourself and then
Yeah.
responding to yourself or your inner voice. That is clairaudience. I do it all the time.
All the time.
Dude, I'll be walking around the house in my own little world talking to myself
Like
out loud or internal,
oh
normally
yeah,
out loud.
right. No, I totally become that mumbly kind of like shifting around, and then I'm like, oh, I should do this, and then oh, I got to do this too, and like it's almost like processing at the now.
Yeah, or I'll be in the car and I'll have because Nicole and I say this a lot. A lot of our greatest thoughts come in the car because we're doing something
Mm-hmm.
mundane. We're doing something that is
Boring.
boring, and it takes the same amount of energy. So then my mind wanders. So then I start getting downloads, and I have conversations
Mm-hmm.
with myself all the time in the car because I'll have this thought come in and I'm like,
It's also air. Like that's all air, right? Like we are
oh yes,
traveling, it's air, we're getting thoughts, like we're in the perfect element to like receive at that point.
you're so smart, buddy. She's so smart.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay. She's feeling really weird today, and I didn't take shit other than coffee. So,
Well, that was like the other day. I think, okay, so my experiment at this point is the other day I had a client come in and she was on chemo. And afterwards, I felt really weird and almost like
ooh,
really dizzy and like all this stuff. And I knew it was coming from I just absorbed all this stuff from her. And which is fine, right? But I was feeling really out of touch with myself and really like almost like, is there something wrong with me? In fact, my next client was like, you need to check your sugars. I was like, oh, okay. Like just because I'm eating because I was dizzy, I'm trying to ground myself back into, and that's why I was eating at that point because I'm like trying to like and cleanse myself out of this energy. But that's the
Yeah.
same thing with you and I, like right now. Like, yeah, I took mushrooms, but yet you're getting the benefits of it.
Woo! I love being energetically entwined. Yeah, I've been singing a lot today. You guys, this is what my partner has to deal with a lot of the times. Now that we moved in
And he is
together,
grateful for it.
I will say he does find me funny. He likes to think that he doesn't, but I'm funny to him because now that we've moved in together, he's like, you're so weird. And then he's like, why do you do that? Like, that's so weird. And I'm just like, welcome to the weird show, baby. Let's
Here we
go.
go. You got front row tickets to
I'm like,
this bitch.
welcome to what every other person in my life knows about me, dude.
Well, and my friends, I love the fact that because my friends Ryan and Derek always have this thing where they like one of them will say something and the other one will be like, "You promised." And I love it so much because I was like,
I love that.
"You promised."
But you promised. I love that. I love those boys. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just to wrap up clear audience, some ways to develop this sense is listen to the world around you with your eyes closed. Okay, take some time, just chill, listen to what you can hear. You're gonna start really focusing your hearing, and it'll become a lot easier.
Right.
Focus on sounds you may not have noticed without paying specific attention to them. This is kind of like what is that called? Is meditating on like a specific, like you pick a flower and you meditate on it. I can't remember, object meditation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that, but you're doing it with sound. Okay, you're closing your eyes and you're listening because you might not know even what's happening around you. This is going to make you more aware of when you get a vibrational tone that's different, or you are actually hearing a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes, you guys, you might just fucking hear one that screams in your fucking ear, and it's really annoying and it might scare you. And then you just got to put your boundaries in place. Listen, I fucking heard you. The next time, don't yell at me, dog. And especially not when I'm going to sleep. So if I'm chilling on the couch, you're more than welcome to talk to me. Sometimes you got to put in boundaries.
Absolutely.
But also really take the time to listen. Okay. It's not going to happen right away. Maybe it will. Who knows? Your journey could be different than everybody else's.
You could already be doing it
You could already be doing it and not even know. Exactly.
because a lot of times we ignore the stuff that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm. 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 Uh-huh.
All
Uh-huh.
right, what's the
Uh-huh.
next one? What's the
Okay, the
next one?
next one is feeling
I'm so
clairsentience.
excited.
This is feeling a person or a spirit's emotions or feeling another's physical pain. Many of us experience this without even being aware of it, and it's deemed as the
Mhm.
quote unquote sixth sense. Um, have you ever walked into a room and suddenly felt different? Did you find it hard to be in a large crowd? Do you find it hard to be in a large crowd?
Oh my God, house parties are the worst.
Ooh, concerts.
Ugh.
Um, do you ever feel like you have like a gut feeling about something
No.
and it turns out to be right? How about, are you extremely sensitive and do the slightest noises throw you off sometimes? Like a crack, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what happened?
Uh-huh.
These are all part of being clairsentient, right? That's the one we're on. Yes, sorry.
Yes.
How about this? Do sad movies make you cry? Do not sad movies make you cry? You're probably clairsentient.
Oh my God. I think I'm clairsentient.
Do you feel random emotions for absolutely no reason?
Oh
All of a
yeah.
sudden it just hits you.
Mm-hmm.
And people often tell you you're way too sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever hear a story about somebody else's physical pain and you feel it?
Uh-huh.
You're clairsentient. So
This one's a
developing
hard one. For
this
me, it
one's
was hard.
dude, I don't have this one, but I watch Nicole go through this. I got very lucky to enter her journey at a pretty early point as it was
Mm,
developing, and I've watched somebody who has this and not know that they have this go through this. This one is one of the hardest ones because you think you're crazy.
absolutely.
You think
I
you're fucking crazy.
I'm just now breaking, and we've been doing this since 2013. I'm just now realizing experiences that I go through with other people is other people.
I would say, in your experience and me be third party to it, this is one that is a constant development. It is a constant learning. It is a constant questioning. It's a constant checking in on yourself.
You really, and the best thing I can tell for people is you have to do the work. You can't be a victim to it. Um, and knowing yourself is your best defense because there's a lot of stuff that comes in and like, and you've been through this with me. There's a lot of stuff that comes in that now I know when it comes in, I'm like, wait, I don't talk like that or I don't feel like that. That's not my feeling. So I automatically go, oh, it's not me. Right.
Yeah.
But it's so, a lot of times I would describe it as like if you had a glass of water and I had a glass of water and we put it into another glass of water, we don't know what's your water and what's my water.
Yep.
And that's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, that's a
Sometimes
great one.
if there's a huge contrast, especially the more I do ritual magic, it's really helped me to like separate it all. But like if there's a huge contrast, like if I'm happy or stable and you're angry and I walk up on you, it comes on to me like a wave.
So that is actually being empathic as well as clairsentient. I did not know there was a difference between the
Oh,
two. So when you're empathic, you can feel the other people's emotions, like including animals and objects, but you have to be in close range to them. When you're clairsentient, you can feel it from range and you feel it at a deeper level to the point that that's
yeah.
also why Nicole is so good at being like, Poke, what's that? She knows exactly where it's at in your body once she knows it's not hers. She knows what's
Hmm.
happening and she has this knowing behind it where it's like, oh my God, is that like daddy issues, for example? And so she can feel it from a distance, but when just you get closer, so empaths normally feel it close up and they feel
Hmm.
they can let it go when they leave. Sometimes clairsentients can't let it go. It
No,
sticks with them.
I've worn it like skin, like it was a part of me. It all of
So
a sudden it becomes part of my story.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So I want to so when I was looking at this one, you guys, because again, I've watched Nicole go through this, I was thinking about her experience and I was also trying to think about different ways that you can help yourself if you have this and how to develop it. And I will say one that I got from you, and I don't even know if you know this, but being in tune with your home and having a space that's a suitable environment for you.
Hmm.
That is huge because Nicole created this room for herself. Again, it's her witch's room, which she's in right now. And
Hmm.
we've talked about it before. It has selenite in the walls. Having a space that feels safe to you, that feels
Hmm.
comfortable to you, that feels protected, that is going to be huge for this one. Because if
Hmm.
you don't have one space where you feel safe, this one can be really hard.
It's so important to have a space. I never realized how important it was to have your own space too. I've never realized that until like going through this journey and being and finding my worth into saying, no, this space is really important to me. And I'm going to take this like, because it was hard for me to take a whole room to myself and fight for that room because I'm more than willing to give it to you and be like, no, no, you take it because you're going to need it for whatever you need it for,
Right.
not realizing how important it is for me.
Well, and it's also probably because you can feel how much they want that room or what they want to
Yeah.
do. It's
And I don't
hard.
want to reject anybody. And like, because this is a whole thing too, is like, if I reject you, even saying no and giving you a boundary, and it's fully, rightfully so, I still get to feel that rejection.
Yeah. A big one of this that I was researching a lot on this, right? To try to see like how can we help people that have this clairsentience. One of them is balancing your heart chakra, and I never thought about this.
Oh, that's
Um,
interesting.
because your heart chakra is the bridge between your thoughts, emotion, and your spiritual essence. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So rubbing rose oil or lavender oil on your chakra to help open it up so you can balance it if it's closed. Help with, yes, wearing rose quartz can help balance it. Doing meditations on it for my people that do
Mm-hmm.
chakra meditations. Your heart chakra is where you're going to feel a lot of this. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
hit you in the chest, and all of a sudden you're going to feel like you took a bullet to the chest and you're not even going to know why or where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And it could be because you're energetically entwined with somebody and they're going through something and you have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
This one's really hard. One that I thought was really cool to start being able to build it up so you know what this energy feels like, so then you can potentially start controlling it, is trying to practice reading for a friend. So asking a friend to like show you a photo of someone they know and you don't, and then
Mm-hmm.
telling them to remember an event with them. And once they've done so, you try to sense the emotion they're giving off and try to guess if it was a positive or a
Yeah.
negative emotion. That'll start
This
helping you get more in touch with the feeling.
2020 was a big breakthrough for me because I was forced to stay at home. And I had this whole thing where I was like, oh, if we could just get everybody that is clairsentience to isolate them and then bring in people to like, okay, this one's angry and this one's happy and this one, like you would be able to find out where your home base was, and like, oh, that's what anger feels like, or oh, that's what happiness feels like.
Yeah. I think it's such a cool one, especially if it's somebody that you guys can trust, that if you I would say go into it with some discretion, because if it is a wound that they have, they could get a little bitey. But just like both of you having that conversation of, listen, I might bring up something that, could feel tender or could make you feel some kind of way towards me. And I'm not
Hmm.
trying to do that. I'm just trying to understand, like, if I'm feeling what you're feeling and if it's accurate and it's all out of love, that could help too.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm so lucky that you are my friend and you understand me. Because it is hard. Because I know, I'm sorry. It is very hard and very personal for me because I do touch people's emotions. And I don't even know I'm doing it until I'm already there. And that's, it's hard to like, I can't ignore it. I don't know how to do that. Like it's been definitely very tough to do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, dude, this is a hard Claire. This is a hard
Hmm.
Claire. It really is. It's not for the faint of heart. I feel very lucky that I don't have this. Sometimes I feel it come up a little bit where like I'll be channeling for no reason and I'm like, what the fuck was that talking through me?
Right?
Um,
Like, what the hell is that?
yeah, but like this is one that I detach myself from a lot because I it's hard, you guys. It's really hard.
Hmm.
And being somebody that doesn't have this, if you ever have a friend that you feel like is sensitive, or every time that they feel crazy because they're feeling shit, you guys like
Hmm.
be sensitive to them. Okay. Try to talk to them about what they're feeling. See if you can help them see where it's coming from, because that was huge for us, was like opening up too. Also, if you have a friend that's constantly pushing a spot in you that you don't like, you have to open up to them about it because they can feel it. And the reason it's
Absolutely.
coming up is because it needs to be healed. And the more that
Hmm.
you keep pushing it down, the more that they're going to keep feeling it. And now you're not only affecting yourself, you're affecting your friend, your loved
Right.
one.
Right.
That is something we learned too, is the more open we got with each other and the more that we talked about how we felt, the easier our relationship got. Our friendship got so easy because I'm hyper aware of it now. When I feel something, I'm going to see her, or I know I know she's feeling it that morning because I'm feeling it. And then I get to work and I have
Mm-hmm.
to talk to her about it because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, dude, so this is what I'm going through. Just so you know, you're not crazy. It's me.
Right. Well, and it's great to have friends because even Cody does this for me too, is that like he's so thoughtful. You guys are so thoughtful about like, and I try to not be like, I don't know, I guess being this sensitive, you feel like a burden to people too because you feel it all.
Yeah. This one's hard, you guys. So be sensitive to yourselves. Have friends that love you. Buddy.
I know. I'm
This one's
sensitive.
you are sensitive, and talking about this one's a hard journey, man. You're gonna make me cry. You
Ew.
Also,
What are we
get
doing?
get some friends that are sensitive to you, but also like not overly sensitive. I think that helps too.
Oh, it does. And
They'll turn everything into a joke.
also, I at this point am so used to crying that like to me it's normal and I try to make people normal about it too. I mean, there was a big thing with when we were at Santa Monica and all that spirit activity was there.
Yeah. Holy God.
And like I was like, well, I'm just the girl that cries. Because at that point, I got up at some point I had my fill and this was early in the journey too. I didn't know what I was doing. It was definitely a very haunted house. I should have had my protection with me. That place, I should have just had iron and salt and all, like I should have cleansed the
Silver,
house.
all
Right,
of it.
all
My
of it,
God.
all of it. Ah!
If we would have known what we know now, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have been able to stay there without doing that.
Yeah,
My
no,
God.
so and Cody really helped me in that point because he was like, I've never seen anybody feel my feelings.
Yeah,
And
I remember that.
that was a great validation for me. And this is the thing, it's like I know that part of my reason I need validation so much is because I don't know how I'm feeling. So like
Yeah,
if I can get validation from you to say truly how you feel, which is hard because you want to hide that shit and like not show anybody.
right.
And I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from. Yeah, so it's hard, but like it's also super rewarding because I don't want to think that anybody that this is a burden. I
No.
share very intimate things that people will never touch or see. I understand the human condition a lot.
And you've helped so many people heal
Mhm.
from things that they didn't want to try to heal from because it's too much or it's too hard to take on all by themselves. And it's almost
Mhm.
like you take some of it and you can understand it and be sensitive to it where other people wouldn't be able to because you can touch it, you can feel it, you get to
Mhm.
be there in the moment with them.
And it's gotten to this point, we just had this experience, this is where the mugwort thing came, is how we picked up something at the convocational and I was like, I can feel it. And I could feel it. It's like I could see it, feel it as it like showed itself, but also like tried to be invisible and tried to, like, I saw it melt into the wall.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, that's there. That's there.
right.
Like where nobody else could see it, feel it, or anything like that. It was trying to be invisible. And I was like, no, I'm like, you need to look at this. And I need you to look at this and like validate that it's there. And you did. And it's amazing. Okay. So let's go on to the next one because we're done
Yeah,
with
because
this
we
one.
could be on that one forever. So our next ones are kind of easy until we get to the very last one. So the next one is smelling. It's called Claire Aliens, I think is how you say it. I want to say aliens, but this is being able to smell odors that you don't have any physical source from. So it could be triggered
Right.
by
Like rose
memories.
or
Yes, or smelling cigarette
tobacco.
smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I told Nicole I will always know, say she dies before me, which we're going out like Notebook. I've said that before, but I will know when she's around because it will be patchouli and smoke. It will be a smoky patchouli smell. That is her smell.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
grandmother wears this one perfume. It's called Angel. I will always know that's her because hers will also be smoky as well. There's my grandpa will
Mm-hmm.
be cigars. Like there's just things I
Yeah.
know. So it can be triggered by memories as well. It can be divination, contact with the spirit world, and there's just so many things. So,
Mhm.
this sense usually goes hand in hand with clairgustance, which is what we'll talk about next.
Is that tasting?
That is tasting
Ah.
to
Oh, I,
protect.
I just want to put in there a little quick. That's
Oh yeah,
exactly the reason why I wear patchouli every day.
I was just gonna say this. That's a good way to protect yourself when you have clair aliens, when you're smelling things, is
Hmm.
wearing a something that represents protection to you. It could be frankincense, sandalwood, myrrh,
Oh,
and
frankincense is a good one too.
Nicole has put frankincense on me too, because she's like, we gotta, nope, we're doing this. She wears patchouli too, and like it the moment though that your smell changes and you're aware of it, be aware of it.
Hmm.
Okay. If you're smelling something gross, fucking scoot, baby. Fucking
Oh
scoot. If
yeah.
it smells
Get out.
horrid, get the fuck out of there. If you're
Sulfur.
smelling
Yeah.
sulfur, yep. Like if you're smelling like the worst trash you've ever smelled in your life, or it's like on fire, get the fuck
Yeah.
out. Wherever you're
Hmm.
at, time to go, baby. We gotta
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
So, like I said, this one goes hand in hand with Claire Augustine's, right? Which Claire Augustine's, Augustine's brew. I'm sorry, Willy Wonka. Uh, so this one's called Claire Gustance, and this is the ability to taste something that isn't actually there. It's called clear tasting, right? So you can taste almost anything with nothing in your mouth, and you can taste what other people are eating. You have a strong sense of smell as well, like they go hand in hand.
Hmm.
So something that people that have these two, because they usually go hand in hand, something they do is they start keeping a journal of what you tasted, what
Hmm.
you were thinking about when you tasted it or smelled it, and what you were feeling at the time. Look for coincidences, because then that's how your spirit guides could be using those tastes or those smells to get your attention about something.
Right.
So that's those two. One more. Claircognizance. It's a hard word for me to say. Claircognizance.
Claire Cog I
Yeah.
Cogsonance.
Cognizance.
Cogsonance.
This is knowing. So this is when we have a knowledge of people or events that we would not normally know about. Okay. It's a forewarning of something that will happen in the future. It's when your gut feelings are right. You can always tell when someone's lying. You interrupt people to finish their sentences because you know what they're going to say. You know the outcome
Hmm.
of a situation and it happens. Waking
Hmm.
up in the morning with a clear, like with a clear mind on a situation of what you need to do. Um, Picking up skills super easily, frequent deja vu. And this is called, it's what they call the knowing. You have a knowing.
Yeah.
This
Hmm.
can happen a lot to you guys with new skills, like things that even in this community, all of a sudden a door is unlocked and you know what you're doing. And it's something
Hmm.
that you haven't been taught to do. You just know what you're doing.
Hmm.
It's like the almost like downloads. It's called claircognizance. There we go.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
That is like our sixth and final clair. So to wrap this up, I have some validations that I was thinking of. And one of them is try to feel steady as opposed to fearful. It's a hard one. Take some work,
Hmm.
take some confidence, get rid of like your self imposter syndrome. There it is.
Right.
Um, Try to find others that have these things. Validation
Hmm.
will help. I mean, but also start trusting yourself. You can look for synchronization with others as validation, right?
Hmm.
Chills. I get the chills like
Hmm.
crazy when something is right. It's we joke all the time. I'm a human pendulum for Nicole. She can ask me
Uh-huh.
questions because she's really good at thinking of the question in a yes or no way to get specifics.
Hmm.
And if I got the chills, it's validation for me. If I didn't, it's not validation. I even used to call this goosebumpinitis when I was a kid because I didn't know what it was, and I'd have
Right.
goosebumps all the time for no reason, and then I would just be like, "Oh, it's goosebumpinitis." Start looking for validation when you are, prophesizing. You get these like moments where you know something's going to happen. Look for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Watch for the validation and foresee in other people's words and reactions. Signs, synchronicities. Have somebody else validate it, man. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, because I feel like knowing is a hard one too, because like you uh again, a lot of times they just come in that you don't know where these thoughts come from. Like I think sometimes I pick up on like if now that I'm looking at like especially dreams and visions and that are starting to pop up, they're weird because sometimes they feel like movies. Like the other day I had one that was like I was watching a girl cop and it was in a precinct and there was a and I was like, what is this? It's so weird. It's just so
Those are
weird.
those is actually those have been my favorite dreams to have because when you start becoming more aware of your dream state, right? You don't have to be overly aware, but you can start controlling if you go in and out of third party or first person, which is really cool because I
Mm-hmm.
love to be third person. I like to see
Uh-huh.
all of it, but sometimes
Uh-huh.
I'm forced to being into first person. So like those are my favorite those when I get to float and I get to like choose who I'm looking at. I'm like the fly on the wall that's like, what do you like looking back and
Yeah.
forth like the camera pan? It's me.
Right. I'm
Those are
like,
my favorite ones.
well, even like when we were doing the meditation when we were at Rockies and I was sitting in that chair and I would get a picture of like we weren't supposed to be like we were supposed to I'm doing a guided meditation and I'm not doing the guided meditation. So I would like throw it out, but even then I can still remember like being in a backyard. It was barren. There was holes. There was a dog. Like I can see, feel, touch, and I'm like, why? I have questions.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys, that to today's episode is today, Junior. Today's episode it was a lot of information.
Yes.
Take it in
Research,
strides. Yep.
research.
Take it in bits.
Right. Do
Look
little
at
bits of it.
yeah. There's tests on TikTok that you can do to see if one of them's stronger than the other, and who knows, maybe you have one and you haven't even
Oh,
freaking tried.
TikTok, TikTok tests. I fail every time, by the way. I just want you guys to
You
know
really?
this. I do. When they're like, because when I was looking up intuition, they're like, I have a crystal in my hand. What color is it? And I'm like, purple. And it's green.
That's also clairaudience, though, right? Or clairvoyancy. So that's a vision thing. I get, I personally get them right most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, not all the time, and then I'm pissed. I'm like, excuse me, like tapping my hello. Are we awake up there? We're
Hello.
supposed to be getting these videos right.
Hello.
So with those videos too, you guys try not to like answer it right away. Let it flow. See,
Yeah.
so like one that I did the other day, I was like, I started seeing red, and then I saw blue, and I was like, oh, it's purple. It was purple, and I was like,
Yeah, it's purple.
so it's like start letting those images flow. Try not to think about all this stuff too hard. Is my best
Well, yeah.
advice.
And remember that this is a tool that you or more like an instrument that you're learning to play. And you
Yes.
know, if you've ever played an instrument, even the recorder, you were horrible at first and then you learned the song. So,
Not the recorder. Not the recorder. I love it. I love that that's the one you bring up because you know we all played that fucking recorder.
everybody right, in
Ah,
this dimension, you know, everybody played the fucking
the
recorder.
fucking recorder, man. That shit used to piss me off. And then
Oh,
that my you guys really quick story ADHD. My freaking teacher, my music teacher when I was a kid and we were playing the recorder used to make us listen to scary stories on tape. You know that book?
yes.
Dude, I was a scared kid. I was scared of everything. I couldn't watch The Nightmare Before
Well, you
Christmas because
could
I was
see
scared of
it.
it. Yeah, I was scared of everything. I couldn't watch the
And
Muppets. The
then
Muppets scared
and
me.
then your and then your mom's like, you Jesus, it's Jesus.
Yeah, I used to hear my name called a lot. I'm sure you guys know this, but I used to hear my name called a lot as a kid, and I would ask my mom, and she's like, "It's Jesus," and I'm like, "What about the big scary black man in the corner? Is that
Is
Jesus?
that Jesus?
What about the werewolf looking thing? Is that Jesus? No." So yeah, I was a scared kid, and I shut all that shit down because everything scared me because I didn't know what was happening to
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, recorder. Fuck that. Jesus
Recorder.
Christ.
Fucking recorder.
Fucking recorders. And on that note, freaking let's pickle ourselves away. Fucking recorder.
All right. Well, I
Next
love you.
episode is anger and negativity, you guys.
Oh, great.
Very excited about this one. It'll be good. That one's going to be a lot
Actually,
too. So,
I think that's going to be a lot easier to talk about than this one.
yeah, that one's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, friends. It was fun talking to you all. And I hope you have
Thanks
a
for
good day.
listening. Yeah. Thanks for listening. I'm
Yeah,
very excited.
me too. We love you guys.
I
Bye.
love you guys. Bye.
Bye, heathens.